Hey guys, I finished my camper build and I'm gonna do a walkthrough, and after I do the walkthrough I'm going to go over a few things that maybe I would change, things I like, things I hate, good and bad, stuff like that. So stick through to the end to see all that. Alright, let's get going. Okay, first we'll go ahead and pop it open. Oh, oops. Okay, I've used these budget clamps. They're used on, your standard pop-up camper, basically. I may upgrade them to something better in the future. Okay, let's go on inside and we'll talk about the frame. Okay, everything's aluminum, 2 by 1 inch. My bed rail is 3 inch. And the unit was made in 2 pieces, the upper section and the lower section. And the bed is welded in place, and I use a this is a air landing pad, and it's a 30 inch. It fits perfect and it's very comfortable. Okay, so the frame section is a fold back. So I've brought the framework down and across, and that squares it off. And it also stops this from leaning out and breaking the corner of the bed. I guess that's an issue. Although I still may come in and put in a support here. Okay, I did all the welding myself. It's all TIG, and it's the first time I ever did it. I had about an hour's worth of practice. You can see like that was a pretty botched job, and then there's welding that actually looks a lot better. So, but it's solid. It's a solid framework. It's man, you could just flip it over and it's solid. You can see the framework on the roof and the fans boxed in. Now you can see that I haven't finished anything off, and there's a reason for that. I'm going to come in after I've mounted everything on the outside of the camper. I'm going to be mounting things, and what I want is to be able to come over here and say I need a support in a spot, and I'll either have to weld it in or I'll use existing bars to bolt to. So that's the reason why I'm going to leave it stripped out for a while. Maybe this winter, if I get it all outfitted, I'll come in and I'll put something in here, you know, plush lime green carpet or something like that. Okay, the siding is ACM panels, and it's aluminum with a foam core, and you can see it right here. There's actually real thin aluminum with this black foam core in there, and it's real light. It's expensive. I think it's like in the $100 range. I'm not sure, somewhere around there. I'll put the pricing in the description below. And then I came in and trimmed it with aluminum trim and different sizes depending where it was. And now this is taped actually. What I did is I used 3M tape. I'll put the description of it. It's real thin double-sided tape and it sticks like crazy. Really good stuff. I'll have that in the description below. But you put the tape on, then you push it against it and it just seals up real fine. It's great. Now in the corners, what I did was I came in after I put the panels on. You come in and you caulk down the corner, and then you put your corner piece on, and then that way it actually puts in like a double seal. Same with here. I had this seal here, or this gap here. I came in and I filled it full of sealer, and then I put the piece over it. So I did that everywhere. So it's definitely waterproof. Alright, so the window, it's a Rec Pro window, and I do like the looks of it. It's real nice. However, mine came and it only opened up a little bit because the track was too short. Not sure why they didn't catch it in quality control. It's pretty bad. But they did send me another window real fast, and when I got the window back, it was scratched up in spots. It looked like a factory return because the packaging was different, like it had been repackaged. But that window does open all the way. Since they didn't want this window back, I'm gonna go ahead and install the other window on the other side. So I'm happy with Rec Pro, even though it was a bit of a slight hassle getting the second window back. Okay, the vent, it's a max fan. I think it's like a mini or something like that, and it wasn't very expensive, and it's supposed to be a quiet motor. I haven't used it yet. I'm waiting for my power source. Looks like it'll be good. I did install it backwards, so, and for the purpose of that is so when it's raining it doesn't rain in, because if you have it angled it opens to the sky. So if you reverse it, it opens from below, and that way you won't have rain going in. Although you have to remember to close it, because if you don't, it'll probably blow the top off. Okay, the hinges. These hinges are just standard door hinges. I got them at Lowe's or Home Depot or somewhere, and I did shim them because they're not the same height on this side and this side, so I had to put a shim in. They're holding up pretty good. I'm using them on the roof too, and it seems to be good so far. I will be replacing these with a beefier hinge that I'll make myself. I've got a milling machine. I'll just go ahead and mill up a hinge and replace all 4 of them. Okay, on the roof seal, I'm using half round seals, and they seem to be working pretty good, and I haven't had any problems with them. They don't leak. Actually, the only leak I've had so far is from you can see where I broke a screw. Oops, I gotta replace that. The only place I had a leak was up front, right there somewhere. Oh, probably in there. So I'll have to get in there and squirt something in there. No big deal. Okay, the gas strut. This is the gas strut I'm using. It's a 36-inch gas strut. It's a 13mm ball and socket here, and this is a heavy-duty plate, which if you run a normal plate, it'll probably bend it. I think on the 10 or 11mm balls, they run the lighter weight plate, and they don't look like they'd handle much. So I'd consider using the thicker plate. By the way, it is a 50-pound on each side. Okay, these panels are coroplast. It's basically plastic cardboard, if you want to think of it that way. And what I've done is I've put folds at these positions, and it folds up. And the tape I'm using is Gorilla tape, and then I've made the rain skirt is out of vinyl, and then I've taped it on the top and on the bottom, and that kind of holds it to stick it out this way and to lay down. And I've had it in about 15-20 mile an hour winds, and it doesn't blow up, so hopefully it doesn't, you know, because it could blow up all the way maybe. If it does, I'll have to put some Velcro maybe in a couple of spots just to kind of hold it down. But I'm not going to do that unless I need to. Okay, on the inside, these are twist locks on the bottom, and you twist them and then they pop loose, and they work real well. Oops, I didn't get that one. Okay, and then you can see they go all the way around. I didn't finish that off yet. I'm still waiting for a couple to come in. And then up above, these are automotive fasteners right here, and they're just push in. You drill a hole and then you just push it in. You can buy those like at Harbor Freight, real cheap. You get a big box of different sizes, and you can see I got them all the way around the top. Okay, now if you do build these, what I did was I came in and I only put 2 in on this one. And what happened was I went camping a couple times, I did some driving and stuff, and it pulled on it. And it actually pulled on here in just these 2 spots. So, and what I had done is I hadn't put these in yet. It was actually just flopping. So it had that extra weight. So I recommend not forgetting that, because you can see it did pull a little bit. I'll keep tabs on it. It hasn't pulled anywhere else except just like a 32nd of an inch on the tape here. So when you fold it, these folds don't have any tension on them. This one does, and it's right at this point is where the tension is. So you also want to leave about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch gap in between the top piece and this piece when you tape them together. That'll allow it to have that extra slack when it folds all together. Okay, here's the fan. It's not hooked up yet. I'm still waiting for my power source. Now this bracket, I made this bracket to hold everything up. So when I fold it up, I put this up here, and then I have a little T-screw, and I screw it up, and it holds all the panels up. And then at that point, I can sleep. Oops, excuse me. At that point, I can sleep up here out in the open, because I do like to sleep out in the open. So that's the purpose for that. All right, guys, let's talk about things maybe I would have done a little different. And the first thing is, yeah, I've got my list. First thing is welding. I would have liked to have had a little more time doing some practice welding. I had about 1 hour, somewhere around there. So, you know, it worked. It actually worked pretty well. And I'm happy with it. But there was a couple of welds that were pretty pathetic. Another thing would be thinner wall tubing. All the tubing in here is 1/8 inch, and it's great if you're going to tap it. Some of the screws I actually tapped, and it came in handy for that purpose. If you go with thinner wall tubing, you could probably shave a considerable amount of weight off, which I didn't. I used the larger, the thicker 1/8 inch, and you can tell it's fairly heavy. I think it's under 300 pounds somewhere. I haven't got an exact weight for it, but it was like 280 something, maybe. Okay, also, when I welded this up, I welded it as an upper box and a lower box. I think next time I would do it is full side panels and then front and back. I think I could have gotten rid of a few pieces of tubing doing that, because they're double stacked right here, and I don't necessarily need it there. You know, I could use it up here, but not down here. Okay, I would have done a taller door. I would have liked gone 4 inches up to here, and it would have made it way easier. What I did was I stacked double high 1 inch by 2 inch here, and I made them double thick to make this real rigid so it wouldn't push out here. I wanted it solid and not to sag. So I did a lot of extra strengthening in this corner. And I think what I do is I'd bring it up higher and do that strengthening up here. Still keeping this strong, but giving me more door space. Quite possible I might even would have done double doors. That would have been kind of nice if I'm always getting gear out. Being myself, I don't do that a lot. You know, I get a few main things, and that's all I get. So, you know, it just depends on how you are or what you're doing. You know, if you're out gold mining, you might want double doors to get all your equipment, your dredge, stuff like that out. Okay, doors. I'm no expert on doors, but I probably would have put a lip around the whole door to create a seal. And I would have designed it that way, and I didn't. All I have is just this little flat spot, and what I need to do is find some real thin foam to glue onto that, and then I need to put a rain shield up top, and I'll get to it. I'll probably do it once I've done my hinge, because the hinge dictates the height here. So that's something I'll have to do later. Okay, if you're building one of these, be careful on your trim. Do some practice pieces first, because what I did is I came and I started doing these, and I broke a couple of pieces broke a couple of screws, and they're a real pain to deal with afterwards. So always check your screws. Sometimes they're soft and they just break easy. Get the right drill bit to pre-drill, stuff like that. What I actually did is the trim I drilled oversized, and then I drilled into the tubing smaller, and then when I ran this in, this had bite on the tubing but not on the trim. So it took a little longer, but it worked out real well. Hey guys, that'll be it for today. Stay tuned. I'm gonna be making right here, I'm gonna build a sunshade, maybe a wraparound one. I haven't decided yet, but I'll be doing a video on that. And I'll be doing a video on a shower system that I'll mount here, across here. And so if you're interested in those, don't forget to subscribe and give me a like. It really helps. Thanks, guys.